Okay, now we're ready for our final topic for today's lesson, and we want to talk about how did the universe get this bubbly structure. And so a lot of this comes from quantum mechanics, which is the study of tiny, tiny objects such as atoms. But we think that when the universe first formed, it was actually smaller than an atom, even smaller than the nucleus of an atom. And so therefore, the universe would have been governed by quantum mechanical concepts. So before I talk about it, I want you to watch this video here, how the quantum vacuum gave rise to galaxies on YouTube. Okay, did you watch it? You better, okay, because what I want to try to do is explain some stuff that you saw on that video. So the universe consists of fields. And so there is one for every different kind of matter, and there is one for every kind of force. So we have been talking about the gravitational field. So the gravitational field is caused by mass. We've also talked about the magnetic field. And the magnetic field is caused by moving electrical charges. And then there is an electrical field, which is caused by electrical charges that are just sitting there. So they will produce an electrical field. When the electrical field gets tangled with the magnetic field, that makes the electromagnetic field, which we call light. So there are other kinds of fields as well. So the universe consists of fields, and there's a field for every major force in the universe, and then there's also a field that goes with particles. So you would have an electron field, you would have a quark field. So when these fields vibrate, they create particles. So that when the gravitational field vibrates, it creates gravitons that carry gravity. When the electromagnetic field vibrates, it produces photons of light, the electromagnetic radiation. If the electron field vibrates, it produces an electron. If a quark field vibrates, it produces a quark. So ultimately, the structure of what as we conceive as reality is composed of fields, and then as they vibrate, they create particles. Now, according to quantum mechanics, though, we are surrounded and permeated by this thing that is called virtual space. It's an energy vacuum. It contains an infinite amount of energy, and we're surrounded by it, and it's flowing through us at the same time. So you might be having visions of the Force in Star Wars, but anyway. So according to quantum mechanics, we're surrounded by this infinite amount of energy called the energy vacuum. This energy vacuum is constantly in motion. It's constantly vibrating. And in doing so, it's constantly, for very, very brief instants of time, it's creating particles that exist in our universe, and then they go back together again. They disappear, and then they go back into the energy vacuum. So this energy vacuum, it's occurring in this room, even as we speak. There are particles that are materializing out of the energy vacuum for very short periods of time, going back together again, going back into the energy vacuum. So this has been proven in quantum mechanics. Now, let's assume, though, that the universe began incredibly small, smaller than the nucleus of an atom before the Big Bang expanded the universe. So that meant that the universe would have been governed by quantum mechanics, and there would have been this constant fluctuation in energy of the universe. Now, let's assume that the universe expands, and then those teeny tiny little fluctuations also expand as the universe expands. So that would mean that there would be certain parts of the universe that would be more dense than others. And so if it's more dense, then that means it's got more mass, and then that attracted dark matter, and then that also attracted regular matter, and so that's where the galaxies began to form, was in those areas where the matter was more concentrated. And so in the areas where it wasn't so concentrated, that's the bubbles. So in a future lesson, I'm going to show you a video that actually shows these bubbles forming and then going back away. Okay, so that kind of explains how the universe has this bubbly type of structure to it. All right, so when you come back, we will take our lesson quiz.